Peace and blessings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Sabrina, and welcome back to Soul Speak Conversations for Your Healing Journey, where so many of you have trusted me with the questions of your heart. And I get really excited when I get to not just answer them for myself, but answer them with an expert. And today I have one of my favorite experts with me, Miss Cristel Sias. I always put it. But I always put an L in your last name. I don't know why I do that.
It's all right. Many people do.
They do. I don't know what that's about. So Cristel Sias is here
Yeah.
today.
Mm-hmm.
And Cristel is a small business advisor and executive coach with a talent for helping CEOs crush revenue ceilings and grow their businesses, often with a side of humor and a great playlist, which is true. As the founder of Everyday Consulting and Services, Cristel specializes in leadership development, process optimization, and strategies that maximize profit for small to mid-sized businesses. Her work with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program has helped inject $234 million into local economies, proving her strategies drive real results. When she's not coaching, Cristel is teaching, dancing, or cooking, often all at once. Multitasking, girl. Are you ready to scale? Because Cristel's go-to humor, heart, and a solid growth plan is exactly what you need. So please join me in welcoming my friend and also my business advisor, Cristel Sias. Hi,
Oh,
Cristel.
Dr. Sabrina. That was look. Yeah, I wrote that, but it's not often I get to hear it read aloud, and it sounds pretty darn good.
It does, right? It kind of throws you off like, who are they talking about? I need to
Right?
hire her,
She
right?
sounds really like she knows what she's doing.
Yes, it's a good feeling to hear it and let it go down into your own heart and marinate.
Yeah,
And it is
I
all
needed that.
true.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yes.
So today, Madam Cristel, we have a
Mm-hmm.
question from a woman. Her initials, I only give initials so people
Okay.
can keep their anonymity. But the question is universal.
Sure.
So AR writes, "Dear Dr. Sabrina, I am one of the 300,000. I'm still struggling with that number myself. I am one of the 300,000 Black women who became unemployed this year, 2026. I have decided to stop the job search and start my own business. Although I have made money for several corporations, I don't know where to begin for myself. Please advise."
Mhm.
What you want to tell? What you want to start with, Miss AR?
You know what? It's really simple. Your job isn't necessarily your zone of genius.
Ooh.
We want you to take some steps back and do some thought work around your zone of genius. There are many
Mhm.
things that you are good at. There are many things you do because you have to do them, but there are some things that you do that not only spark energy, innovation, creation, a lot of shuns happen
Mhm.
when you are working and living in your zone of genius. And that's something that you can Google to help you put you on that path of finding out what that is. And it's usually something that's been within you since you were a wee person.
Cristel, you sound like an accomplished therapist in that moment. Girl, what is your zone of genius? And right when you said that, it hit me like, oh, what would the world be like if people really had the capacity to tap into that zone?
You utopia.
Yes. Yes.
Tapping into that zone of genius helps you get real clear about the things that bring you the most joy, even when times are hard, even when everything isn't working out as planned or as expected, but you can rely on the feeling that delivering that product or service to the world at large gives you to keep you moving forward, even as you have to navigate a problem.
Mm. So once AR is able to tap into that zone,
Mm-hmm.
and you said something so important, like your job is not necessarily that zone. Your job
No.
is sometimes it's just what you do to make a living. How would you support somebody like AR once she found that zone?
Once she finds that zone of genius, people will come to me and say, well, I really like helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Good
Sure.
example.
But let's focus in on how you like to help people,
Mm-hmm.
because people need help in many, 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 many ways, right? And if you're trying to figure out how to monetize that help that you can provide to people, then we have to put it in the context of capitalism and business.
Mm.
Because look, there's some help that you can provide that just should be given. Some
Yeah.
of it shouldn't be charged for,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the people who you're trying to give that help to or need the help don't value it and won't pay for it. So there's also that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to look at how can you monetize that help, and how can you get very specific on how you like to deliver that help and what boundaries that comes in, to see if it actually aligns with something that you can do in a business context.
Mm.
For me, I love to help the underdog entrepreneur. In the early days of my career, I was like, well, I'm a jack of Jane of all trades. Let me just do whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I don't like helping them however they see fit. What I really enjoyed helping them do is plan and implement successful strategies. I arrived at that because I did a lot of mismatch assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember I was talking to a community college class the other day. They asked me how I got my start. I said, I edited a book for a starting entrepreneur, and I hated it, every minute of it. Sure, I could type, a mean 70 words per minute. I could review the context. It wasn't a long book, didn't take me very long. I undercharged, and I had to wait 12 weeks for $150.
Oh.
I had to chase this person down for $150.
Mm.
I got real clear that I didn't want to edit books. So that kind of
Mm.
help I wasn't willing to give.
But you also got a sense of what it feels like to be an underdog. What you call it? An
An
underdog
underdog
entrepreneur.
entrepreneur, yes.
Oh Lord, you been reading my journal? Go ahead, keep talking. Keep talking, Miss Crystal.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I was real clear that I didn't want those underdog entrepreneurs to become codependent on me either.
Yes,
So
yes,
working
absolutely.
in their businesses wasn't something that I desired. And it took, I did it the hard way. I didn't do it the smart way,
Okay.
because I didn't have someone like me, and I didn't know where to go, because this
Mm-hmm.
was almost 20 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of the resources and supports in the environmental landscape for an early entrepreneur. Accessibility to programs that the Small Business Development Center offers, that
Mm.
the SBA offers, that many nonprofits offer to help you tune into your zone of genius. Even programming at community colleges that can be free or even very cost effective for some people will help you not do it the hard way like I did. Not having to do it by yourself, trying to figure out how do you marry your zone of genius with the ability to monetize it. Take those opportunities, take those classes, start talking to others so you can get clearer on how you want to supply that help.
You got to say that again. That sentence about marrying your zone of genius with the ability to monetize,
Monetize, yes.
because that is where I see so many people in my field in particular, but just women in particular in general, is having that balance,
Yeah.
serving humanity and making a living.
Yeah. They're not always on the same plane.
No, not always.
One of my community college students I teach a lot at the Community College of Baltimore County. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she wanted to start a nonprofit.
Mm.
And I hear that a lot because I want to help people. I need to
Right.
start a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm. It's a good
Okay.
example.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. And I go, okay, what for? To do what? To serve whom? Okay. And she was like, well, everybody, everywhere who needs all of the things. Okay. And I said, okay, that's very admirable of you to try to uplift all of humanity on your square shoulders, said small petite woman, right?
Mm.
Um, but I said to her, look, have you done an environmental scan? She was like, what's that?
Yeah.
And I said, look around at what every other person is doing to help uplift humanity. Who do
Mm-hmm.
you identify with the most? What
Mm.
other nonprofits do you see as supplying services to the community in a way that align with how you want to help people? Is it a feeding program? Is it an education program? Is it childcare? What is the thing? Because I'm also going to tell you and bust your bubble. There are very few new, disruptive, never thought about before ideas that exist. Very few. Okay. So somebody somewhere is already doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to look far and wide to find it because there's going to be alignment. There is a blueprint that exists. Do the research, talk to people so you can avoid some pitfalls. And really, at the end of the day, this conversation with this young lady, she took my class. She left a little defeated because I drained some air out of her balloon.
Mm-hmm.
She came back to me in another class and she said, thank you so much. You helped me save money,
Mm-hmm.
not lose time, not lose momentum, because where she wanted to help people was actually helping one of the programs in her faith community be more effective and efficient at serving a population.
Oh, okay.
And she still got paid without having to do all the compliance work that went into growing and maintaining a nonprofit.
Mm.
She was able to find her zone of genius and another job opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But her entrepreneurial spirit is what got her to that place. So she could monetize her zone of genius.
So when you talk about zone of genius, it's not just about being self-employed. It's also about being balanced. When you said it, I made like a little triangle
Yes.
because it's the zone, and then it's the community, and then it's matching your role.
Yes.
And it could be a job or it could be your own
It
business.
could be your own thing. But if you don't do the research, if you don't scan the environment, you won't know what's out there. And you may end up going about a course of action that's difficult and too hard and too
Mm.
strenuous and actually prevents you from working in your zone of genius because now you want to start a business and you haven't served anybody because you're muttered and mired in the compliance and the paperwork that goes along with maintaining a 501c3.
And you broke.
Money's gone, right?
Mhm.
Yes. And your family doesn't like you because you're stressed out. You bring it home all the time. There can be a lot of things when you are misaligned in that way.
Mhm.
The alignment, that triangle, like you said, is very important to being able to find that happy middle and thrive there in that happy middle space.
Yeah. So AR got me a little activated when I read it because I know so many of those women that lost their job
Yeah.
between January 2025 and right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you or is this a population of women that you've been working with in the past year more than ever?
Actually, no, they're
Okay.
not coming to me. They're not seeking
What?
people out like me. Yeah, they're doing it the hard way. They're like, I'm ready to start a business.
Oh, they doing it the hard way.
They're doing it the hard way.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Look, because I'm also clear that I'm not cheap. I know
Mhm.
my worth, right? But when you are in a position where you are cash tied, you don't have the access to capital that you need to start a business, that may be an indicator that you aren't ready to start a business. Because look, a business requires investment first, then revenue comes afterwards. People kind of get that tied up a little bit. They're not coming to me to seek the support, and I get it. I am a luxury item in a business. So when you are new and starting out, lean into the free resources that are there to help you navigate this journey. Like I said, there are women's business resource centers all over the world. There are small business resource centers in the US in every state. The SBA is in every state. Community colleges are in every state that have entrepreneurial programming at nominal costs. Tap into those resources first. Write a business plan. Talk to people that you know who are already established entrepreneurs and ask them about the pros and cons of their existence.
Very important.
People don't do that.
No, you're right. They don't.
Yeah. They take what they see on the surface from social media, and people talk about their wins. It's far and few between that you hear them talking about the tribulations of business. Because just like you talked about all the women that lost their job in January, I lost every single client that I had in January.
Of course, right.
Because I'm a luxury add-on to a business, and everybody's worried about cash flow, maintaining everything that they need because all of the uncertainty and unexpected nature that was presented to them. And I get it, right? But to insulate myself from that, I have a long-term contract that keeps my business even keeled and sustainable. Without that, I would have been in the line with the rest of those women trying to figure it out. But it's because I planned a little bit better and I went through those hard times that I knew I needed to have something stable on the ground floor of the business, keeping the lights on.
Yes. And so what I'm hearing you also say is there's no way to have your own business without making mistakes.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, and so a lot of what you learned was because you didn't have that support and you made more mistakes than others.
Yes.
And so a part of what you're doing with the people that you support is help to minimize, but not eliminate.
No.
You're gonna minimize it. And
Yeah.
I want to self-disclose if it's okay.
Please.
Because some of what you shared was also relevant for me. I remember when I said, I'm gonna open a wellness center. I'm gonna open this thing and I'm gonna charge my clients and I'm gonna give some away and I'm gonna have this big old space and everybody's gonna come, everybody's gonna pay their rent, and we're gonna live happily ever after in this big, giant, beautiful space. And yeah, exactly.
And it did happen like that. And then the human factor showed up, right?
The humans, a bunch of humans showed up and a bunch of greedy humans showed up too. Because I had no idea how much commercial real estate was, how different it was from regular real estate. I didn't know my rent was going to go up every year. I didn't know about the percentages. I mean, there were so many pieces that I had no idea how to manage. I learned, and someone in one of the groups that we were in together said something about, "Oh, you've been flying by the seat of your pants," and I said, "I don't have any pants on."
Right? The pants are gone. I had to sell those to keep these lights on in this space. Yes. Yes.
And I do remember people coming up to me saying, "Oh, Sabrina, you've done this, you've done that." Because what they saw was the bright, shiny face, which I still walk around with.
Sure.
But what they didn't know was the pain and the challenges that were involved. And I remember one of the most significant things, and you were the first person I did this with, when I had to show my money, like show the budget sheet, show the P&L. I was like, oh, huh, what, I'm supposed to show up to class naked? What is she talking about? Get back to the pants.
That's right.
But I do remember the healing I experienced when everybody showed up with their P&L. and everybody named a mistake and everybody named what they learned from it, and how healing that was for me, but also for everyone in the community, to say, all right, you did this, let's do this now, let's redirect. And I think some of these women, like you said, they lost their position. Some of them were really, I mean, financially, they were way ahead.
Sure.
um they lost this position, and I see them doing things like, I always wanted to paint, I always wanted to sell, make jewelry, which I love these earrings, but I
Yeah.
always wanted to do that. And I'm like, yeah, but what's the plan, honey? Because
Right. You should make earrings. Make all the earrings. Paint all the pictures. Don't expect a soul to buy them.
that's it. And they get very attached to, well, there's a piece about wanting people to buy it, but I also find that people who have had jobs
Uh,
for a very long time, they will sell the heck out of a pharmaceutical, or an app for someone else. But when
mhm.
it comes to telling people and selling themselves, selling their product,
They're not as bold. They're not as
mm,
brazen. Some of that has to do with they don't have a plan.
okay. So that's a part of it. Not having the plan
Yeah,
makes
not
them
having
less
a
confident.
plan. Yes. And there's so much unsurety with not having a plan
Mm,
because even with those wonderful earrings, sure, the market says you should sell them for $10. But the time that it took for you to put them together says you should sell that one pair for $100
mm-hmm,
so that you are able to actually get a return on the investment of time. But if you
mm,
aren't putting a qualitative value on your time, you won't be able to assess the price properly.
honey, a qualitative value of our time.
Gotta put a quantitative, qualitative, get a
Totally.
number on it. Gotta put the numbers to it. And you experience this. Look, in a group environment,
I do.
everything has a quantitative value. Everything can be assigned a numerical value. And part of why you assign it a numerical value is so that you aren't wrapping your feelings into it.
Mm. And that's a challenge that many women have. Many
Yes.
business owners, period. But I see that more. I don't know. Maybe you see it less in women. I don't know.
I see it in everybody who's in business
Yeah.
because
Okay.
when they come to me talking about, well, this is my baby,
Oh, well, there's a feeling, right?
then there's a feeling associated with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is okay to have that feeling, but those numbers don't feel anything about you. They are just an illustration of your performance.
The numbers don't feel anything about you.
Mm-mm.
That is so important to remember. And you're right. There's an attachment when people call it their baby.
Yes.
And if it's your baby, nobody can touch it. You don't want anybody, you don't want
You don't
everybody
trust
kissing your
people with
baby.
it, right?
Yeah.
All these, and you're really trying to protect it. But with the business, you need to welcome people in it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially if it's something that is scalable.
Mm.
And look, and there's something to be said for being in a company of one, but understanding the caps on your capacity. Making those earrings, that's great, but you only have two hands. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're selling them for $10 a piece, you know how many hundreds of pairs of earrings you're going to have to make to get up to that salary that you once had at that job?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be better off buying them earrings and reselling them.
Yes. And that's where a coach like yourself, or starting with the SBA, would help someone really
Under-
figure out
yes.
how to quantify.
Yes.
Is it worth your time? Can you be creative?
That's right. That's right. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Oh, I like it. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Sure. I mean, because we can take a naturopathic perspective on this, because if you go about trying to get pomegranate juice out of a pomegranate and you do it wrong, you're working too hard and
Yeah.
you don't get a lot of juice and you end up with a lot of excess bitter bits in your
Mhm.
juice and you end up having to strain it and make less juice. But if you have the right tools and you have the technique on how to properly, number one, cut the pomegranate, okay, and
Mhm.
then realize that the juice is only coming from the seeds, you're going to get more juice.
Yeah.
Got to make sure that what you're going to pursue is worthwhile. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it's okay to still do it, but don't try to use it as your primary source of income because that's not realistic.
Yeah. No, it's not. And the other thing that I've noticed, and you can tell me if you've noticed this as well, is so many of these women, in addition to not having the access and the experience, they also don't have the lineage
Oh,
of small business ownership. So there's no auntie or uncle,
uh-uh.
parent to go to for support.
No empathy, none at all. You really are out there by yourself, fending for yourself.
Yeah.
And some of your other family members will look at you like you are doing something bizarre, insane,
Mm-hmm.
illogical, um, self defeating. Sure, they will root you on and they want to see you win, but they don't understand why you're sacrificing yourself like this. Why do you keep playing in traffic? You are going to get hit by a car. That's what it looks
Mhm.
like to them.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if my whole family was even supportive on the outer when I started. Well, because I started my company officially in '08,
Mm-hmm,
and we as a country were going through a recession.
mm-hmm,
And people were like, "Why would you want to do this
mm-hmm.
now? What are you
Right.
doing?" And I said, "If this is the time for me to do this."
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
there is never a good right time when the economy is high, when the economy is low, when the economy is blue or purple. It does not matter. What does matter is that you do get yourself out there, but you have a plan that helps you understand what it is you are starting and when you are starting it and what's happening in the environment.
yes,
Yeah. There's never a good time. And I'm glad you started in 2008. Otherwise, our paths would have never crossed. It
we would
worked
have
out like
never
it was
crossed.
supposed to.
We would have
Yeah.
never crossed. And I know for me, you heard me mention journaling, and I teach writing and I'm a writer. And I remember at some point when my business, I don't know, I had been in business probably a decade, and I wrote a letter to my mistakes. Like, thank you. I
Yeah.
learned this, I learned that, I learned this, and I learned that. And I made some big ones. Um, but I always knew, and I never had the language for it, but you named it. I always knew that what I was doing was in my zone of genius.
Mhm.
But I didn't know what to call it until today. Thank you. Thank
You're
you. But I
welcome.
always knew, and I just said it last night to a group of women. I really 100% feel in my whole body that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And then what you and people like you help me do is shape it into something that I could continue to make a living. And I'm still learning how to do that. But obviously I'm eating. The lights are on, the bills are paid, and it feels lighter, it feels easier, it feels doable.
Mhm.
And one mistake that I repaired even before I met you, that I'm still so excited about every year, especially this time of the year, is I got myself a bookkeeper
Ooh, yes.
over a decade ago, because that thing about trying to do everything. I remember me sitting at tax season, like piles of receipts and just like, what am I doing? Who what are you doing, girl? You are not an accountant.
Talk about triggering trauma.
Woo! This is so not your jam. You don't know what you're doing. You
That's right.
suck at this.
That's
Put
right.
it down.
Yes.
Put it down. And the next year, I found a bookkeeper and an accountant. They're a team. I love them.
Hmm.
And we have this great relationship. And that might seem small to people because I know people are thinking about that. "Oh, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. Let me sit and do this myself." But I remember you advising other people, "What are you doing? You got to get a bookkeeper." And I remember the day you came to see me because I stopped digging my head in that and I started digging my head in other things that I shouldn't have been doing. And you came to my office and you were like, "What are you doing? You're distracted from the goal." I'm paraphrasing what you said.
Hmm.
But you were right. And so what I know about you and what I think AR probably needs to know is, one, you're going to make mistakes. Two, you need to have someone that you're accountable to that will help you redirect if you start going down Main
Left.
Street. Yeah. You left, you're supposed to be right.
Yes.
You in some trees and you're supposed to be in the lake. Where are you? Where are you?
The bookkeeper, those support mechanisms are all there to help you stay in your zone of genius.
Yes. Yes.
Just because you can does not mean that you should.
There it is, right there. Just because you can does not mean you should.
That's right.
That is so important.
Look, and I can tell just from how AR is presenting herself, very capable.
Yes. Yes. Very.
There are many things that AR is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But some of those things you shouldn't do, some of those things you don't have to do. And a lot of those things will deter you from working constantly in your zone of genius because, like you said, it's a distraction.
Yes. Yes. It is
But a necessary element, an unavoidable element of business
Mm-hmm.
that still needs to be handled,
Mm-hmm.
just not by your hands and your sweat equity.
Yes. And that's the hardest problem. That's one of the biggest challenges for founders is, like you said, back to that baby,
Yeah.
is letting someone else handle it and trusting them.
That trust comes with developing your own skills and acumen around the subject area.
Mm-hmm.
But notice I didn't say mastery,
Right.
right? It's just developing your skills and acumen so you can ask better questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are paying for supports like accounting support, even administrative support, you want to make sure that you're getting the bang for the buck, that you are investing in that other individual or company to help you meet a need in your business. And if you are elevating the conversations with those professionals, you're just kind of going on a wing and a prayer like you did with the rest of the components of your business and hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move from hope into intention.
Yes. And then there was another piece that you also provide, um, and that I also provide as well as a therapist,
Mhm.
emotional support
Mm.
around being in business. And that comes
Yeah,
from
because
the individual, but also
yeah,
a community.
you have to have a community. Okay. In the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program, one of our facilitators starts off with the African adage, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yes.
Community is one of those things that help you go far. If you want to be a flash in the pan, fine, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to build something that's sustainable, if something like generational legacy is
Mm-hmm.
important to you, one of the easiest things to have in your toolkit is a supportive enriching community that also can not only sympathize but empathize with where you are and what you want to do. So you're going to need like minds.
Yes.
You're going to need minds who ask you probing questions to get you thinking in ways that you haven't thought before. And this is in anything, whether it's business or playing the piccolo. You need to surround yourself by people who have done it, do it better, and provide inspiration and aspiration to you.
Mm-hmm. I really love that you said that. People who do it better.
Yes.
For us to be okay with having a mentor and sitting
Woo.
at the feet of someone who is wiser than we are,
Yes.
who have treaded that path already.
Yes. Mentorship is, well, look, we already know the importance in children. That importance doesn't go away just because you are an adult.
No, it
It's
does
just
not.
what you're learning from that mentor may change. It's no longer about life lessons and being a good person, right? It has a finer set of bounds. Um, and we aren't telling you either to accept everything they say
Right.
as your predicted path. It is food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
It is a part of the guardrails to your success. And learning from others' mistakes so you have a better plan when you implement what's in your heart and you're in your zone of genius.
Mm. It's so true. And that's this mentor. I'm wondering, I'm thinking about my own profession, and I mentor lots of mostly women, but I've mentored
Mhm.
lots of people. And there is a beautiful feeling in my body when I go on social media and see somebody that I mentored 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who left their job. They were like, Sabrina, I had enough. This place is undermining my dignity. It's oppressive. It's this, that. I'm rolling out. And I really try to help them stay long enough to get it right.
Right.
But if they really have to go, I help them make it happen. But then to be on social media and see them now, I haven't seen them in years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at so and so. Look at her. Look at him. It's fuel for me too. It keeps me like, oh yeah, okay, Sabrina, you know what you're doing. And then I have
Hmm.
a group of women that's been coming here to my office for the past decade. They don't really need, like you said, the day-to-day instruction. What they do need is a safe place to say, that's
That's right.
it. And then they know
That's,
what to do.
that's right.
Now, what I love about them is I can also beat them up. I can say things like, we've been talking about this since 2017. Now we're going to stop and you're going to blah, blah, blah. I love, I love that we're in that place too. But I mean, the bottom line is there's love in the room.
Yeah. Look, there's a really good book that I read by a gentleman named Brad Jacobs.
Mm,
He is the chairman of a board for a little small company you may have heard of called United Rentals.
mm,
Prior to that, he was a part of this other little ragtag operation called Waste Management.
you funny,
Okay,
right?
this little operation of his.
Mhm.
And the title of his book is very humble in its approach, and it's called How to Make a Few $1 Billion. Okay.
Girl.
And the first chapter of his book is all about leading with love. That's the very first chapter. The very first chapter from someone who is a titan of industry
Mm.
is leading with love.
You just nailed like Sabrina's whole intention.
And you can make a few $1 billion while doing it
And you
too.
can and you could make a few $1 billion by doing it. You just gave so many people a healing, Crystal, by saying that, because there is an aversion to people that want to help, to understand that you can lead with love and still make a living.
Hmm.
And I asked the question at the beginning, I'm gonna ask it now. What would happen if these two things that you named happen? We work through our zone of genius and we led with love.
I am a science fiction fan, and I'm hoping for Star Trek that we can all
Okay,
live
right.
long and prosper. You
That's
dig?
right, girl.
Because on that show, look, money is outmoded, right? food, clothing, shelter covered for everybody, that you can enjoy the discovery of who you are as your best self.
Yes.
That would be I hope the human race is is allowed to flourish that long that we're able to realize that.
And that's what we want for all these ARs,
We do.
to take this setback as an opportunity to really discover who they are and why they're here.
Yeah. I am a firm believer that the universe is giving you things.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving you things in such a way that it's meant to connect you to your next best position.
Yes.
And sometimes what the universe gives you, that package, isn't always bright and shiny and happy and good and fluffy. It's not always a puppy. Okay. Right? Sometimes
Right.
it's a termination notice
Yes.
that came out of left field and had nothing to do with your performance.
Right. Exactly. So important.
It is meant for you to get to your next best position.
Mm.
Receive it.
Yes.
Lean into it.
So we can both pray that AR and all the ARs that are listening
Yeah,
step into their next best position.
absolutely. Look, and as smartly as I know that they all are, using resources and guidance to do it with the least amount of hurt possible.
Yes. Yes. And if any ARs want to reach Cristel Sias, I will put that, we will put that in the chat. You can, what is
Please.
your company? What is the name of your company again?
Everyday Consulting is the name of my company, but you can find me on the social media platforms at everydayconsulting.net is my homepage. But I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. I'm very accessible.
You are. You are. And I can thank you personally for what you've done for me and what you still gonna do for me, because I'm not finished with you ever.
You know how to find me, friend.
I do know how to find you.
The energy reciprocity with you is undeniable.
Oh, you're so
And
sweet.
you're definitely somebody that I want to see win. So look, just call on me.
I know, I know. And I thank you so much. And I thank you for coming here today, for bringing all your big giant heart and your soul and your capacity to this conversation. And I thank you, AR, for your question, and thank you for all the ARs. And we both are sitting here rooting for you, praying for you, and wanting nothing but beauty for you. Thank you all. We will see you soon. Peace and blessings.